midnight dream, damnest thing you've ever seen. I like the likes of her. Where do I get me one of those girls? A farmer's daughter, homecoming queen, likes to fight, what a sweet little thing. She can drink iced tea, throw back a shot. Now there ain't much going, that girl ain't got.
Every year, thousands of people all across the United States put in for the elk draw in the state of Kentucky. It's a pretty big deal. I know I even put in before I was a hunter. I was scared to death of a gun, had never picked up a bow, but I still wanted my hands on some elk meat. Several years go by and I'm never drawn. Well, finally my luck changes and I've actually been drawn 3 times. For some people it's kind of a sore subject because they wait for years to get these tags. And thank God I was drawn 3 times. I know the first time I got drawn for an elk, I felt every kind of emotion there was. It was excitement because I was finally drawn. It was nervous, can I really get this done? It was fear because these animals are huge and I don't know their habitat. I don't know their characteristics at this time. I don't even know if I can do it. And I just couldn't wait to start looking what comes next. I knew nothing about elk hunting. I just knew that I had to get that meat. I had to make it happen because if y'all been following us, you know that I hunt to feed my child. She has severe food allergies, but thank God she can eat wild animals with no repercussions. So I knew I had to make it happen. So my first call was actually to find a guide. So I'm starting to get ready and get prepped. I know I got chosen for archery, so I have a compound, and I had no clue if I could shoot enough poundage to even make my arrow go through an animal as big as an elk. On the first hunt, my guides were amazing. They put me on so many elk that I could have had a shot at. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it happen. My hands were too cold, I hit a limb, I was exhausted, my nerves took over, something happened, but I did not harvest an elk on my very first hunt.
Hey, this is James Sam with Kentucky Buglesnstruts Outfitters. This is Brandon Thomas. We're the co-owners here at Kentucky Buglesnstruts. It's that time of year again. When it's a beautiful day here on one of our private properties we've got to hunt. It's probably got about 75,000 acres on it. And if you got the chance to hunt Kentucky elk this fall, woo! Man, are we excited. Give us a chance, give us a call. Talk to Brandon at 606-634-7640. He does all our booking. He does an outstanding job. Good luck. We hope to see you, but man, we're ready to make friends for life.
Thacker Grigsby is constantly working to bring the latest technologies home. Home, where we live and work in this community, a place we want to see grow and prosper. Thacker Grigsby is committed to a Fiber to the Home project, which will bring every home and business in our service area fiber within a 5-year period. We're halfway there, but we won't stop until we reach our goal. And that's a big deal. We're committed to serving you and our community.
Shoot like a boss.
Opening day is a finish line to a race that started months prior. A race consisting of dedication, determination, and preparation, resulting in blood, sweat, and anticipation. So when that moment of opportunity presents itself, you can draw peacefully, knowing your time, energy, and preparation started with Rackology. Everything you need, all in one bag.
Hey Hey guys, it's Bridgette with Wildlife Women, and I'm here with James Sandlin of Kentucky Buglesnstruts Elk Guide. And we are standing here in beautiful Knott County, Kentucky, on top of this gorgeous mountain overlooking where I killed my 2017 cow elk. So what a better place to be.
Beautiful, beautiful day. Beautiful.
Thanks, James, for coming out.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I thought it would be kind of cool for James to tell us a little bit about the elk population and the elk herd. I know when I posted my picture and people asked me, have you ever gotten an elk? They're surprised to even hear that elk are in Kentucky. And I'm telling you, the population here and the herds here are beautiful. I've been able to witness a lot of them. But James, do you care to tell us a little bit about how the elk were brought in and when?
Yeah, the elk was brought in by the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife back in 1997. And actually, the good thing about the property we're on today, where you kill the first elk that ever hit their feet in the state of Kentucky occurred about half a mile from where we're standing.
Wow.
I was a senior in high school, so I got to witness that. And then 21 years later, here we stand, and we've got the rights and privileges of being able to hunt the ground.
That's awesome. I know I've hunted with these guys a couple years actually. I've been very blessed to be chosen several times for a cow elk tag, and unfortunately with the law changing, I have to sit out this year. But so good luck to everybody else that put in. I hope you get one, and you got to call these guys. I mean, like you said, they have this property and several others. They've never failed to put me on an elk. I may have failed a few times in making the shot. But they've never failed to put me on the elk. So James, maybe tell us a little bit about what made you want to be an elk guide. Why do you do this?
Want to be an elk guide, I grew up, I was blessed. My dad got me into hunting when I was real young, me and my brother. And I've always enjoyed the outdoors. Now I got a little boy, it's 11. He's been hunting with me now since he was 6 years old.
Oh, that's great.
We got into guiding because of the love of the outdoors that we've got. But it's also gave us the opportunity that we've, over the past years, have got friends all across the country. Not just here in Kentucky. We've got them, in Alabama, Pennsylvania, New York, Washington. We've got them all across the country, which is a great privilege. Somebody that's from a small town like Hyman, Kentucky, which is absolutely beautiful, and take the industry or take the hunting that we love to do anyway. And now we've made friends for life. We got people that call us every year, even through season, want to know how it's going, what we're seeing, what if we've seen anything bigger than they killed or whatever. Cool. They like keeping up with us, and we absolutely love that. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And hunting is a big family once you experience your first kill or your first hunt with a guide or a friend. It's just really amazing how you bond. Can you tell me about maybe your favorite guiding experience?
Wow. We've had so many over years. Probably our favorite. It goes back to what Ben was talking about earlier. We absolutely love hunting kids. And to be able to be with a young child or anywhere from, I think we've hunted them from probably 6-7 years old all the way up to 80. So
awesome.
and most people, this is the first time they've ever got to hunt elk. So to be with them on that experience, and that's what we have friends tell us all the time, like, I'll never forget the hunt, and I'll never forget who's with us. And so while you take all those memories, we're blessed to be able to be part of them, which awesome. Means a lot to us. So we probably like hunting. We had one kid that I think is last year, 2 years ago, hunting with us, and he killed one, and he jumped up, and he probably run 100 yards one way, and his dad run 100 yards in there, and they probably run back together, hugging, and we was giving Rick Flair moments, and we was having a ball. And that's what hunting's all about. Awesome.
That was my next question. Did he give the Ric Flair? Woo?
Oh yeah, every hunter we've got, they give us the big woo. I mean, that's how we, I'm a Ric Flair fan, so we like it.
So be prepared when you guys hunt with them and kill your elk. You have to do the Ric Flair woo. So get some practice in.
Yeah.
So elk hunting is pretty cool to me, and the animals are just amazing to watch, and they're so majestic, coming in, and I've been very blessed to be put on several herds. I've seen them single, I've seen them bedded down. Tell me, James, something maybe some type of attribute or characteristic of the elk that maybe people don't know.
I'll tell two. One is individual elk. They've got two top ivory teeth. So if
Awesome.
you kill a cow or a boy, either one, they've got ivory teeth in them.
So the male and female.
Male
both
and
have-
female both got ivory teeth in them, which we've had a lot of people make jewelry out of. You know, they make
Yes.
rings, earrings, stuff like that with them. And the other thing is on a herd is like the herd. If you run into a herd of elk, they'll follow the lead cow,
Okay.
which I don't know. I don't know how they arrange if it's the oldest elk or which one, but they'll all do what that lead elk does. If she takes off running, they're all take off running. If she walks, they walk. If she's standing still, they stand still. So whatever the lead elk does is what the whole herd will do, which is pretty neat.
That is
And it's
cool.
hard on us as guys because we've got to be able to figure out which one's the lead elk.
Wow.
Because we've got to base all our actions, our approach, and everything else off that one elk.
How do you do that? Does she give you any type of personality trait or
Not
action
necessarily
or-
personality trait. You just got it takes time to be able to watch the herd and see how they move, which one moves first.
Okay.
So it just takes a lot of time to try to figure out which one it is.
Right. Are they pretty repetitive animals? Like, do they normally stay in the same area? Do they migrate in different areas?
No, they'll stay. They'll stay in a certain area at certain times of the year.
Okay.
Like they've got their own summer feeding grounds. Just like in the winter, they've got their own feeding grounds. That's the reason you'll have more like elk versus vehicle accidents because they're coming off the high ground, which is where we're at now, to the lower ground where the grass is still green.
Okay.
So they're constantly moving. They're like a cattle. They're constantly like a grazing animal. They're constantly going where the grass is green.
Okay. Yeah. So what about, are they kind of like a deer? Do they bed down in the heat of the day, or are they up and moving all day long? What are your time frames that are normally your best opportunity to get on elk?
Your best opportunity is probably depending on the year. Early bow season in September, early October, when it's still 80, 90 degrees, obviously, is about an hour and a half after daylight, and about an hour and a half before dark. But now December, January when it's cold, you could have all the way up from daylight 10:30 in the morning and 4:30 in the evening on up. So it just depends year round. But yeah, through the heat of the day they'll go in the timber and bed down.
Okay, let's talk a little bit. I know I've been chosen for cow archery every time I've been drawn, and I've put in for gun. Honestly, decided I was going to try to get one with my bow, so I just put in the last year all archery. So maybe talk a little bit about the differences. I know I hear a lot of people ask, which is easier or which do you prefer, and maybe just give me a little pointers on archery versus gun.
Well, number one is like every hunter we got that comes in, we one of the first questions we ask them is what their comfort range is. With a bow, whether it's within 60 yards and in, some people's 40 in. With a rifle, some people's comfortable shooting at 200 yards, some comfortable shooting at 100 yards. So the first question we is ask them their comfort range. Once we get their comfort range, then we'll come up with a game plan of how we're going to get into it. With a lot of the hunting we do is spot and stalk. We got to find them and then move to them. So based upon the different hunting is how we've got to provide the spot and stalk.
Right.
And we've got guides probably starting in 1st of July. We'll have somebody in the woods 5 days a week.
Just trying to catch the pattern where they're
trying
at.
to catch their pattern, trying to see what we're looking at because our bulls are still antlers are still growing, and it gives us an idea of when we start booking customers. We book customers this year off our last year numbers.
Right.
So which is part of our management plans because we know how many elk was on let's say this particular job last year, so we know this year how many we can take.
Yeah.
So we base everything off it. So
you've got a huge management thing to take care of as well. You go to different properties based on how many kill on a certain place.
Yeah, we've probably got roughly around 10 properties that we manage, and
that's awesome.
All the 10 is we got which we're in the hazard LEA today, hazard limited entry, and then the outlaw. We got some at-large properties. So we base all them off the year before numbers.
The year before numbers.
Yep.
Well, I know when I was preparing to hunt, I actually had to, make sure my weight was accurate, that it could actually kill an elk. I had to, I practiced, of course, from all different ranges. I remember even shooting my bow through a chronographer just to try to calculate to make sure that I had the right arrow, the right broadhead. It was a lot of preparing for an archery hunt with an elk. So, and actually being a wildlife woman, I'm really curious to know at what levels of experience do you typically get, and secondly, I know for a fact that you're prepared for new hunters because I was one myself. So how prepared are you? Do you have to take extra steps for those of us that are new to the industry, that may never have elk hunted or may never hunted anything, and elk being their first opportunity?
Right. Well, the first thing you got to do is contact Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Okay.
And get the orange card, the Hunter Safety Education course,
Right.
which is first that you got to have. Then you got to get the license through Fish and Wildlife. But after that, it's hunting's more. A lot of people come in, they'll constantly put a target in their yard and shoot a 30-yard shot over and over and over. Well, it's hard to recreate that 130-yard. So to get prepared for it, archery hunt, you need to change your distance. Try to guess the distance. Try to get in your head, that where you can estimate the yardage in your head. And we always recommend all our hunters use a fixed broadhead archery hunting. Not saying that mechanicals aren't good. We've just seen in our experience that a fixed broadhead is better.
Works better.
Yeah. As far as a firearm, I don't know if we've seen any that's any better than the next. So you can't just show up and never have shot before, either your archery or or a firearm, and expect to have great success.
Right. So practice.
Absolutely, practice.
And I'll definitely agree with you on the different conditions. I know when I went, Brandon put me on elk over and over and over, but I didn't always take in consideration either the branch or my hands being numb or the jitters. So I agree. I mean, that's something that I did as a new hunter, is put myself in several different scenarios trying to practice, and with failure and success, obviously. And that's one thing I try to encourage all the girls. Don't think of not getting the animal as being a failure, because the experience is absolutely amazing, especially with these guys. They are so great to make you comfortable, to reassure you, and to give any kind of assistance they can. So, being that I know I have a huge passion for the outdoors, and my goal was trying to get women involved, getting their children involved, passing it on to their children. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do for the community and for other people as far.
It goes back to what we was talking about earlier, hunting with kids. So when we started Kentucky Buglesnstruts Outfitters, me, Wes, and Brandon, we sit down and talk about what can we do that makes us different than everybody else. So we take over 50% of what we make every year, and we put back into some type of children's program.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whether it be Little League, softball, high school sports, different shopping events for kids to go Christmas shopping. We take, over 50%, we give back. We've got kids of our own, and, the job we do outside our hunting is we want to make a difference. We see kids, that don't have a whole lot. So we do our absolute best to make sure that, we can do everything that we can do to have the kids.
That's awesome.
In good shape. So
that's awesome.
That's our number one focus, is to how can we make a difference in our community.
That's awesome.
So,
well, thank you for that. I mean, I think that's a great reason behind what you do, and probably why you're so successful. And you guys got to check them out. If you're lucky enough to be drawn in the Kentucky Elk Lottery, check out Kentucky Buglesnstruts. You will not be disappointed. These guys are awesome. And I appreciate all your information, and thank you so much. And now I say it's a beautiful day. Let's go do some elk shed hunting.
I heard that. Let's go. Thank you.
Tucked in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, Perfect for a quiet weekend getaway or a fun-filled group adventure, visit us at Big Branch Cabins. Bring your ATV for some beautiful, scenic mountain riding. Our small cabin sleeps up to 4 people, and the big cabin sleeps up to 10, with another cabin coming soon. So bring the entire family. There's tons of parking and plenty of room to enjoy the outdoors. Cook out, play cornhole, hike, fish, or simply relax. Come visit us at Big Branch Cabin Rentals, nestled in the heart of Knott County. Now it's year 2 that I've been drawn, and I decide I'm going to try to make this happen by myself. It was difficult, but where I hunt, I have a great spot that I'm comfortable getting to alone, I'm comfortable getting in and out of, and lucky enough, the elk do pass through there certain times a year. So after multiple days of sitting and waiting, I am sitting in the blind, and I hear them. I can hear, it sounds like a bunch of four-wheelers coming because they're very loud. They travel in herds, so I can hear them coming in. I start to feel shaky and nervous, and I'm going through my checklist in my head, make sure my arrow's locked in, make sure my kisser button's in the right place, take a deep breath, close the right eye. All kinds of things are going through my head, and the herd starts coming in. So I was so excited. I was breathing hard and trying to calm down, and 3 or 4 smaller cow elks come in, and then I see this one that is massive. And she's perfect, broadside, about 20 yards, and I make the shot. And I can't tell you how that felt, because 1, I was alone, which is what Wildlife Women is all about, is make sure that we're learning how to do this independently. 2, it was a great shot. And 3, she only ran about 200 yards. Elk is down. Now what? I don't know how I'm going to get this animal out of the woods. I don't know if y'all have ever seen an elk, but they are massive. So I call my buddy that's letting me hunt on his land, and thank God they come. He calls in the reinforcements, and it takes 4 men, myself, and a 4-wheeler to get this elk out of the woods. So now it's time to work on tag number 3. I'm really excited this year because I get to take my best friend with me, and he's never seen an elk in the wild, and he's introduced me to so many cool things outdoors. It's my turn now to show him something. So I'm really pumped about this year. So we're doing all kinds of prepping. I'm shooting my compound, we're tracking, we're on the property looking for elk, checking cameras, hoping that we've seen them come by. Unfortunately, nothing. So while we're there, we just decide why not do an impromptu hunt. And it was a good plan until we get to the blind that's been out for 4 years. And now it's convertible. It lasted 5 years.
Oh, wait. We've got beautiful light because we got no time.
Absolutely zero planning. No checking the blind. Nor the So Bo and I have decided to go on this impromptu elk hunt. The day was supposed to be just getting the cameras checked and making sure the blind and the seats and everything are still there, because I've not been there since last hunting season. I think you've already saw we lost half the blind, and it's convertible now. And we're sitting there just kind of waiting to see if anything's coming, and we keep hearing this crazy noise. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, I don't know what that is. And it's just scratching and scratching and scratching. I'm looking around, looking up, because of course I can see in the trees, and looking out, thinking maybe it's a squirrel. What is that? And we're both just sitting there. Then all of a sudden, I realize it could be my biggest fear. And it is. He starts hitting the seat, and all of a sudden, a mouse falls out.
I may or may not be that tower. They're gonna see us so easy. I don't think the face paint's gonna do it today. So we've got a lot of shooting options in this blind. We can shoot left, to the right, and out the top, out front, and just in case elk decide to fly, we can get them through the top. It's turkey season. Maybe we're on to something. We can market it for turkeys. Normally, when the elk come in here, they come up this hill here, and all the cows come up. There's usually about 30 in the herd that comes in here. The bull comes down from the top of the knoll, so I don't know if he just stands up there and watches the cows come in and then comes, but he normally comes after. Comes straight down the top of this knoll. I've been in here a couple times that the bull will come alone. That's usually in the evenings. He'll have a cow tag, so unfortunately we'll have to leave the bull alone.
Unfortunately, while we're hunting in our convertible blind, we do not see any elk, but I see the first buck I've ever seen in this hunting spot. So I'm pretty excited. Even though there's not an elk, that buck is going on my list. First time out for the elk was unsuccessful. So we keep trying, but unfortunately there's a snag in the plan. My body decides to develop gallstones, and my doctor says I need to have surgery. With surgery, my very first question is, how long before I can pull back my compound? I have an elk to get.
I'm Tina Thornsberry, the owner and guide of Beaver Creek Outfitters in beautiful Knott County, Kentucky, the elk capital of the East. If you were lucky and you drew a tag to come hunt in Kentucky, give us a call at 606-369-6594. Let Justin, Ross, Brad, or myself help you fill your tag of a lifetime.
Shoot like a boss.
So I put off surgery as long as possible. It got to the point that I just had to do it right in the middle of elk season. And unfortunately, I could not use my compound. But luckily, my doctor was really cool, wrote me a note, and I was able to use a crossbow. I'm new to crossbows. I'd never shot one. I didn't know how to do any of it. So now I've got to add something else to learn, which ended up being kind of cool. So now I've been able to harvest an animal with my compound, with a gun, and a crossbow. So I'm trying to look at the positive side of this at the time. So now a big part of hunting this elk is trying to master this crossbow. I've never shot one. I've been a compound hunter for 8 years. I finally, this year, actually harvested an animal with a gun for the first time. And now I'm going to get to use a crossbow, or at least try. And at this point, I was nervous because the elk were not coming where I knew they came every year. I don't know if we missed them, if they decided to come while I was out having surgery, or what. But they totally avoided every place I knew they were. Now it's time to pick up the phone and call Brandon, who guided me the first year and put me on tons of elk. So today's the day. Brandon, Bo, and I are getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, getting ready to go out and see if we can't get on a herd of elk. And luckily, Brandon spots the herd, and we try to sneak up on it. So after walking in the dark, carrying this heavy crossbow, post-surgery, we finally make it on this massive herd of elk. Unfortunately, the cow elk spots us and alerts the other 100 eyes that was on us, and they all run off. So Brandon makes it happen again. We get out of the truck and we're walking and walking and walking, and we come up on this herd exactly where he thinks it's going to be, which is really cool. And we're kind of up high on the property, and we could see this herd of elk just pouring out of the woods. I mean, one after another, cows, bulls. It's just an enormous herd. And we get some awesome footage. We're too far right now to make a shot, but we're making a game plan at how we're going to get in and do some climbing around the cliffs to get in on top of this herd to try to make a shot. So we make this awesome plan, and nobody told me it was going to involve some mountain climbing. But I made it, so it was pretty cool. So we get up and we hide ourselves in these rocks. We're set up, ready to go. I've got my crossbow propped up so I don't have to hold it. Yes, I am in pain, but it's worth it to know that I may get a shot on this animal. So we're sitting and waiting and for the herd to come out, and of course there's 3 bulls right in range, and I could shoot any of those, but I don't have a bull tag. So unfortunately we're forced to wait for the cow to come out. And we wait, and we wait, and we wait. But finally a cow peeks its head out. And I think, this is my chance, this is my shot, and that cow is going down. Typically, we've been watching this herd, and typically they walk straight in front of you, and I would have had a perfect 45, 50-yard shot. And after practicing with my crossbow, I was comfortable with that. Unfortunately, she decided to go straight. And I had 0 shot. And I just can't even describe what that feels like when you're just watching that animal walk off, knowing it went the wrong direction. And you may not get it. Okay, at this point, we decide we're going to try to move and sneak up on them. And there's tons of rock and a couple hills that we have to kind of crawl over. And we're belly crawling and sneaking and trying to get up over this rock to kind of come around on the other side, hoping to cut them off. And it was just too close to dark. They were too smart, and we couldn't make a shot.
The X-Stand brand stands for something. It's something you can't put a price tag on, and it sets them apart from the rest of the industry. It was built from the ground up with a genuine work ethic that doesn't cut corners. X-Stand products are world-class and use hunt-safe technologies to go above and beyond normal safety standards. Just like the revolutionary technology of the Jaw safety system, X-Stand products stand for safety and quality. X-Stand. Simply smarter, simply safer.
Opening day is a finish line to a race that started months prior. A race consisting of dedication, determination, and preparation, resulting in blood, sweat, and anticipation. So when that moment of opportunity presents itself, you can draw peacefully, knowing your time, energy, and preparation started with Rackology. Everything you need, all in one bag.
I'm a grandma.
I am a mommy.
I am a photographer.
I am a stay-at-home mom.
I am a student.
I am a Kentucky elk guide.
I am a teacher.
I'm a biotech sales representative.
I am a human services supervisor.
I am a paralegal.
I am a meat producer.
I am a provider.
I am a high school job coach.
I am a healthcare worker.
I am Wildlife Women. For more Wildlife Women adventures, tune in to Hometown 24 on YouTube.
So we make another date to go elk hunting again. And this time, I feel it. This is going to be the day. We are going to get this elk today. I have no more time to waste. We've got maybe 2 days left in the season, and it's Christmas. So we finally come up on a cow by herself. And if y'all have ever elk hunted, it is much easier to hide from 2 eyes than to hide from 50.
Right there.
So I tell my friend, let's get over here, out of the road, get set up. Let's kind of sneak up this ditch that was full of rocks. And thank goodness it was tall enough that it blocked our bodies from her view and she couldn't see us. So we snuck all the way up that, trying to carry my bow, trying to keep it from getting hit. He's behind me with a camera and just kind of easing up these rocks. Post-surgery, remind you, which was not comfortable. And we're easing up these rocks, trying to get a good place to get set up.
She's starting to come back this way. I'm gonna get up on this bank and try to use it as some cover and prop it up. Don't slip and fall.
Thank God I was able to stay hidden. He was able to stay hidden. She comes back around just like we wrote it in a movie, and it worked out absolutely perfect. She gave me a perfect broadside shot. I managed to shoot a crossbow that I'd never done before, and now I'm bringing this cow elk home for my baby.
She's 60 yards. 60 yards. Did you get her?
Woohoo! All right, cow elk down. Whoa, we got her! Cow elk down, dropped. What a great plan we had. Thank you, Mom. Thanks, Brandon.
Woo!
Woo! We did it! Very... Gosh. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me with the meat. Oh, God. I got backstrap now. He's putting the smoker.
Here comes our guide. Tell us about our guide, Bridgette.
Brandon! So I've been hunting with Brandon. I've been lucky enough to draw a elk tag 3 years. My very first year, I hunted with Brandon Thomas and Buglesnstruts Outfitters here in eastern Kentucky.
So all in all, I'm so excited about this hunt. I've got my cow elk on the ground. I'm feeding my kid. My favorite guide is with me. My best friend is with me. I can't describe how exciting this moment was to actually have this animal down and be ready to go home.
Merry Christmas!
So all in all, I'm a pretty happy girl. I have been picked for the elk draw 3 times in the state of Kentucky. I've harvested twice, and I am just really excited about that. However, there's a new law that now I have to wait 3 years to be drawn again, which is also cool for me because now you guys may have a chance.
I'm a grandma.
I am a mommy.
I am a photographer.
I am a stay-at-home mom.
I am a student.
I am a Kentucky Elk Guide.
I am a teacher.
I'm a biotech sales representative.
I am a human services supervisor.
I am a paralegal.
I am a meat producer.
I am a provider.
I am a high school job coach.
I am a healthcare worker.
I am Wildlife Women.
For more Wildlife Women adventures, tune in to Hometown 24 on YouTube.
So I've been really lucky to hunt with Kentucky Buglesnstruts Outfitters several times, and I say several because my guide Brandon was extremely patient my first year I drew a tag, and I was so excited that he was decided to take me on. I was fairly new at hunting and had a cow tag and begged a little bit, and he graciously said, "We'll get you one." And I don't know if this is typical for most new hunters, but Brandon had me on a herd of elk probably 4 days out of the week for like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, when you time it right, you time it right.
Yeah. So I'm telling you guys, this was one of the most exhilarating things I've ever done, was hunt for an elk. Our very first hunt, we jump out of the truck and we get on 5 or 6 cows. And you think spot and stalk, but what I don't know if people understand, spot and stalk don't mean you're just kind of walking up on them. We actually were crawling on our elbows and trying to sneak up on these cows. And there was a little berm, and we're trying to sneak, all the way down on the cows, and there's weeds and everything, and I'm crawling and my elbows are hurting and I'm trying to keep from hurting my bow. But it was so exciting and my heart was racing. So that was, we've talked about how hard it is to actually make the shot. And I don't know, if everybody makes with archery, if they're usually lucky the first time or not. Does that ever happen?
Yeah, usually it takes 2 or 3 shots. Cause like you said, their adrenaline starts pumping, their heart starts going, you're getting closer. Sometimes the elk's feeding to you. So it's pretty fun though. Usually it takes 2 or 3 times because people's not used to going up on a 1,000-pound animal.
Oh yeah, my first time out of the truck, I'm going, we walked quite a ways, to get down there. I'm thinking, that's gonna be easy, they're right there. No, that did not happen. So anyway, we're crawling down, and I raise up to try to make the shot. It's perfect, probably not even 15 yards. I mean, I had a perfect broadside cow elk sitting beautifully in front of me. I raise up, I'm doing my checklist through my head, make sure I take a breath, make sure my kisser button's in the right place, am I pulled back right, all the little checklists that we're doing when we're still trying to learn how to shoot. And he says, shoot, shoot, shoot. Well, right as I shot, she takes a step, and the arrow literally grazed right behind her backside. So I missed, but I could have pulled it off, but didn't take in consideration there were branches and leaves. So I honestly kind of told Brandon, I think my arrow hit a branch.
Well, of course, yeah. It's always got to hit a branch.
Yeah, that was a perfect explanation. So needless to say, there was a whole lot more of chances and trials and excursions. We did everything from climbing up and down hills that were so steep that I literally had to throw my bow and pull myself up. I mean, it was amazing. We were out looking and scouting on roads that we could have been on. What is that show? Ice Road Trucking or Dangerous Ventures or something.
Yeah.
It was really fun and really exciting. But one thing that I noticed, and this is something people will say to me, I go watch an elk, I get from 15 yards from an elk, or you can kill an elk really easy with a bow. You cannot. Trust me. When you get on a herd of 30 cows, it is very difficult to get close enough to actually make a shot, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know, it was hard. It was hard for me. So we lucked up this year and was able to harvest one, and it was an amazing hunt. I brought a friend of mine along that had never elk hunted, that got to see all these elks in the wild. We came up on herds of cows. I'd say the first herd, I'd almost say there was 100 cows in there. How big typically are your herds on your properties?
It just depends. Later in the year they all start coming back together. So we usually anywhere from later in the year 60 to 80 when the rut's in, and early, in September and October, probably 10 or 12 in a herd. So that's
changes.
another pattern that goes.
Okay.
We was talking about earlier. Another pattern that goes with the seasons that we've got to stay on top of.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Well, I know we've pulled up on several, and it's hard to sneak up on them. I know we talked a little bit about the lead cow, and if she sees you, it's over. So you got to think of getting within 15 yards of not only, if it's 30 cows, it's 60 eyes. So I mean, it's very difficult to get close enough to make a good shot with a bow. But it's a lot of fun trying, and I know we had some. You'll see in some of the show, we had some really good chances, and had a few walk within 70, 80 yards, which was a little bit too far for me to shoot. But finally, on the day that we got the cow, we really looked up. We found a cow by herself, and she was going up a mountain. So thankfully we called. She turned around, came back. We were able to get some cover with the little rock quarry kind of looking thing. We crawled up in the rock and hit ourselves, and thank you, Jesus. We were able to make a shot, and I came home successful with a huge cow to feed my family and get the teeth out of to make some jewelry. So thanks to Brandon and James and Kentucky Buglesnstruts, and hopefully I will be on your list again for another elk hunt soon.
Well, hopefully you are.
Yeah. All in all, I'm a pretty happy girl. I've been chosen 3 times for an elk tag in the state of Kentucky. I've managed to harvest 2 animals that has fed my family and just brought such joy to me, and it's been an amazing hunt and memories I'll cherish forever. Unfortunately, I can't put in for 3 years with the new laws in Kentucky. I have to wait. And I'm going to hope that one of my Wildlife Women girls gets chosen this year. So we will be able to cheer her on and help her out any way we can. It's a great experience. I highly recommend that you guys put in for the elk draw. It's unlike any other hunt you've ever done. And I really hope you get to experience it too. I am so afraid of mice that I cannot stand it. I can go out in the woods, I can kill a deer, I can kill an elk, I can go out in the woods alone, which my family hates. And my mom used to call me constantly telling me to get home. I had no business to be out all by myself, and I wasn't afraid. But I am scared to death of this mouse. It's terrible. So I'm yelling at him, telling him, don't touch it with your hands, don't touch it with your hands. But inside, I'm going, I'm so thankful it's in his chair. I'm so thankful it's in his chair and not mine.